Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of World Kidney News. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Before I start this show, I'd just like to send my condolence to the family of Martin Pito, kidney warrior who lost his life to this disease Saturday or Friday morning. And we'd just like to give our condolence here at World Kidney News and Urban Health Outreach Media. Now, tonight, we have an awesome show. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. I hope you got your cooking hats on. And let me just say something before I start this. I don't have the recipe written out. However, if you would like the recipe, just leave a message and we'll get it typed up and put on Google Drive, and we'll put that link out there. But tonight is going to be a great show. Thank you for watching World Kidney News with the Cooking with the Kidney Chef series. It's going to be an awesome show. I hope you enjoy it. Last week we had Chef Oliver Hill on here, and that was a great show if you was able to watch. If you didn't watch, you can go to Urban Health Outreach Media to our video section and pull up last week, September the 6th, Sunday, September the 6th, World Kidney News. So tonight, again, we got Chef Brian Bortley from TB7 Wellness Coach, also a kidney warrior, is going to prepare a dish, and he's going to let you know what it is. But joining me tonight, I am so happy to bring her back. She was on our show, World Kidney News, about a month ago or so. This is kidney warrior, dietitian, kidney donor, Cassandra Floyd. She's going to be here tonight to co-host and share her knowledge and expertise on the meal that Chef Bortley is cooking. And before we bring Chef Bortley on, we're just going to chop it up just a couple of minutes on the importance of blood chemistry. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my co-host, master dietitian, Cassandra Floyd. Hey, Cassandra, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thank you for joining us all the way from Arkansas. Wow, how's the weather down there?
It is still hot and humid.
Did y'all have any rain?
No, we're supposed to get some later in the week, and hopefully it will cool it off some because it is still very, very hot.
Yeah. Guys, share this broadcast, because again, there's nowhere online, maybe Dad Vice TV, because he has a dietitian on Jen every week. But other than Dad Vice TV and here, you're not going to get any other show or organization that try to constantly educate kidney patients, whether it's dietary social worker or clinical nursing. And so tonight we're so fortunate to have on Cassandra Floyd, who is a kidney disease dietitian. And so before we start, Cassandra, can you just share with kidney warriors watching, which we know they know, but even maybe their families or people who don't have any knowledge of kidney disease watching this show tonight, how important is monthly labs and blood chemistries like potassium, phosphorus, calcium, sodium, and glucose. How important is chemistries like that for dialysis patients?
Those are they're very important. Your potassium, monitoring your phosphorus, monitoring your hemoglobin, the vitamin D levels. They're very important to a kidney patient, and also watching those on monthly labs. When you get your monthly labs, you want to make sure that you compare them to last month. You want to see if you want to also compare them to 2 or 3 months. So it's a good idea to keep the labs when they provide them for you. If you keep them electronically, a lot of patients now, the doctors provide or the lab provides a electronic app that you can review your labs on, and you can see the trends. But if not, make sure that your facility, your physician, the dialysis clinic gives you a paper copy so that you can keep your own trends and be able to watch them. Great. So not only do you want to look at them each month, but you also want to compare them to the month before and even the month prior so that you can see the trends. Are they improving? Are they getting worse? And if they're improving, that's an amazing thing. You want to keep up with the changes that you've made so that they do continue to improve. If they're not improving and they seem to be getting to not be going so well, you want to talk to your physician, talk to the dietitian on things that you can do to help improve those labs. A lot of those labs, especially your potassium, your phosphorus, they are very diet related. So having that conversation with your dietitian can really help you start to create that plan so that they do improve as the months go on.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And I know for a lot of kidney warriors, there's a lot of clinics out there, and we know that dietitians get overwhelmed, especially these working for these large corporate companies that have god awful lot of clinics all over the place where dietitians have to have a patient census of 100, 150 patients. Yeah.
So that's if you may not get a sit down with your dietitian each month. Some clinics, the dietitian may have time to actually sit down and do a chairside talk with each patient. At some, they may not. They may pass out the labs and then tell you to look over them. Let me know if you have questions. But that's why I always advocate for the patient to monitor them also, because if someone is not pointing it out to you, I want you to be able to say, somebody come over and I need to talk with someone. So it's a good idea for you to keep up with each month. And it's also a good idea to learn where it should be. Not just where you are, but you also want to start to become familiar of where it should be. So
Absolutely.
that you want to know if you're starting to trend too far, too high. And you want to know if you're starting to trend too low, because labs that are low can be just as bad as labs that are high.
Wow. Okay. So let's bring on Chef Brian. See, he's ready, prepared.
All right.
So let me give Chef Brian the VIP. So here we go. Chef Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Steve, how are you today?
Pretty good. How about yourself? You got your gloves on. You definitely doing social distancing.
Oh, we about to put that work in for you today.
Wow. Man, thanks for participating in cooking with the Kidney Chef series.
No problem.
Before we actually get started, just share just a brief history of your experience and what got you here to be a chef and cook nutritional meals for kidney warriors and yourself.
All right. I was a dialysis technician for 10 years, training nurses that were coming into the industry how to do their job and do the machine and the patients. Patient sneezed on me one day without my PPE on, and I immediately got sick. That led to pneumonia. When I finally got to the doctors, I was told that my kidneys were in failure. So I've been on dialysis for 6 years, and I've been a chef for about 10.
And so what encouraged or inspired you to help other kidney warriors and people with your cooking, or especially with kidney friendly meals?
Well, I became a wellness coach with 30 years of tracking the body, and prior to kidney failure, I didn't understand why I had all this information inside of me. So I took the cooking side and started teaching people how to eat healthier and to kind of debunk some of the myths in the cooking industry that most lay people don't understand about food and ingredients.
Okay. But so what are you preparing tonight, Chef Brian?
Well, we're going to try to get through this in a half an hour, but I'm going to do a panko crusted cod with some fresh string beans Szechuan style.
Okay. So go ahead.
So I just want to move through this so we got enough time.
No, we got some time. We're going to give you all the time you need, brother.
Okay, all right.
But while you're doing that, I'm just going to talk with, not unless you got something to say right quick, but let me just ask Cassandra something. Cassandra, Brian is cooking cod. Can you just share with kidney warriors the nutritional value of cod, please?
Well, cod is a very low fat, low calorie fish. About one fillet is about 90 kilograms. So as Brian was talking, patients are trying to eat healthy. You may have some patients who are looking to lose weight that are in stage 1, 2, or 3 kidney disease, or even if they are on dialysis. It's a good source of protein, but it's also a low calorie protein and a low fat protein. So it's heart healthy also. And it has some great things, vitamin B, niacin. It's good for the cholesterol. So it's an excellent choice of protein.
Wow. Okay, Brian. So what you about to do? What
I was going to
ingredients?
say, it sounds delicious the way you're going to cook it, Brian.
All right. So we're using a little lemon, which is what we do with most seafood. We add a little bit of acid to it, minus the seed. So we're doing a little bit of lemon on it. Next, the biggest issue in dialysis is hypertension. And I'll kind of explain this real quick. Since I've been on dialysis for 6 years, I had to find out what salts that I could use for my body that were healthier and not destructive. So you can't use Laurie season, you can't do seasonal, you can't do Old Bay, you cannot do regular Morton salt. Most of those things are bad salts. So what I use is sea vegetables, which is dulse, like nori in your sushi. I use pink salt, which comes out of Himalayan mountains. That's wonderful for the body. I use amino acids. This is a soybean fermented version that gives me the salt enzymes that I need. Plus, it has a lot of great other enzymes that help break down the food.
Wow.
Go ahead. If you got a question, I can listen and answer.
No, wait a minute. Let me bring Cassandra and I back on. Let me get my grammar proper. But Cassandra, what do you think what Brian just talked about with the salt?
So those are the aminos, the liquid aminos that he's using. They do provide a salty flavor that you're looking for. They're vegan free, they're gluten free. So the majority of them are made out of soybean, or you can also get them made out of a coconut aminos, and they are more of a fermented. So a lot of times they're usually about half the amount of sodium as compared to like a regular soy sauce. So it's also a good, you can substitute it if you're trying to have a soy sauce flavor, you can substitute it and it's usually a less sodium product.
Now, Cassandra, let me ask you, Brian did not mention Mrs. Dash. Okay. Now, I'm not a health, dietitian to distinguish the difference between Mrs. Dash and the salts that he's using now. But why is it? And I asked Brian, but why isn't Mrs. Dash a part of that salt items that he have?
Well, Mrs. Dash is just another brand. It's a combination of different flavors. They don't have any salt. There are no salt added seasoning. So there's different brands. Brian is a chef. So most chefs cook with, they create their own blends. But if you're not necessarily a chef and you're looking for some blends, it's a good way to use different seasoned blends that are not salt free. There's also some other companies that make some salt-free seasoned blends. There's another company called Spiceology, and they actually make some salt-free seasoned blends. But a lot of chefs create their own blends. Here's sort of like what Brian is doing.
Okay, so Brian, explain to us what are you doing right now?
Okay, so we did the lemon juice. Then I hit it with some paprika. I put a little onion powder and garlic powder on it. I did use a little fresh garlic, minced up. So most of this is real simple. I had some hummus that I'm going to add to it that's just going to act like a binder for the panko. You can substitute with some mayo, but I don't like a lot of soybean minus the fermentation. Other than that, I don't put a lot of soybean in my diet. Soybean is one of the things that creates cholesterol, that creates the issues in your vascular. It breaks down your arterial structure.
Right. Now, let me ask you, are most of these ingredients that you're using, are they expensive, moderate? What's the price on these ingredients that you're using?
One of the things that you told me to do was make this simple, easy, and affordable. So other than the cod, and we only use wild caught fish. Nothing is ever used that's farm raised. Because farm raised fish has antibiotics and hormone growth to them. So even the hummus is used with olive oil.
Okay. And I mean, like the Himalayan salt and those other salt, the amino acids.
This size runs $4. Sam's, BJ's, Costco's is the cheapest place you can get pink Himalayan salt. Triple blend flakes from the ocean runs about $4.99. This comes out of Amazon. So this stuff is very affordable. The reason we don't use white salts is because white salts have been industrialized so much that they take 47 different elements out of the salt and then bleach it, then add dextrose, which creates more issues in the body. Your body blows up when you do pork products because it's been cured with white salt. So I don't eat pork. If you want to understand how to lose weight on dialysis, understand how to have energy and be healthier, this is how we do it. I have a protocol that's been working for the last 6 years. My numbers with no medication are unbelievable.
Wow. Cassandra, you have any questions you want to ask so far?
Well, I was gonna say just Brian is also using he mentioned he's using fresh garlic. Fresh garlic is a great anti-inflammatory product. So it's really good for kidney disease and dialysis patients because it helps to reduce inflammation, which is something that you experience when you're having issues with chronic kidney disease. So fresh garlic is a wonderful thing, and he used that in the product also in his recipe too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of, I want to say, industry dietitians, when I mean by industry, ones that work for the main LDOs, large dialysis organization, do they share this type of knowledge? I mean, I know Brian is a chef. I mean, he's in a different category, but when it comes to healthy eating and dialysis patients, that you would think dietitians would go outside the box of the normal protocol that these corporate companies want them to stay inside. Now, do you see a lot of that happening nowadays with corporate dietitians?
Yes, a lot of companies have allowed dietitians to explore a little more, so they get the opportunity to do some taste testing every now and then. I would say I'm a dietitian. I love to cook. So I'm enjoying watching Chef Brian because I love to cook and I love to learn. I watch chef shows all the time, but it's really nice to be able to take what we know nutrient wise of a product for the patient and actually help them turn it into something that's good to eat. So that's the key, to be able to know what a product does and how it works in the body and how it can be good for you in the body, but to actually take it and turn it into something that is tasteful and looks good on a plate.
Brian, give me 1 second. I want to ask Cassandra one more question. Now, Cassandra, I know you've been in dialysis, I think, like over 20 years.
I've been a dietitian for
dietitian.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know that for a while, the renal diet has been kind of bland.
Yes.
Now, at what point did this start to change where a lot more companies or dietitians started to be more creative with the renal diet?
Well, I can't necessarily say when it started to change. I can say this. I do remember as a dietitian working in the hospital and we were revamping the diets. And this was probably 15 years ago. The biggest concern we had was the renal dietitian, the renal diet, because we got once you do patient surveys, we got the biggest complaints from that particular diet. So we had to figure out a way to make it more appealing. So that was a huge task. And I don't know, me personally, I'm one of those dietitians who I feel like if it doesn't taste good or if you don't like it, you shouldn't have to be forced to eat it because there's tons of things out there that is good for you and they taste good.
Man, that look good, Chef. So,
Yes,
Brian,
it does.
wait a minute. Take that back out. I just want to see how that looked like. Can you show the camera?
Okay, so these are capers. They're almost like an olive. They've got a little brininess to them. So we've got a garlic, butter, lemon sauce that's going to melt down. Real simple and easy.
Looks amazing.
All right, so we're going to put it in the oven, 350, 20 minutes. It'll be done. Then we're going to get to the vegetables.
So what type of vegetables you working with?
So today we're going to use some fresh green beans. My pan is already hot with water. So all I'm going to do is steam these vegetables out. In a restaurant, what we do is we would use chicken broth. But today, didn't get a chance. So I'm adding a little bit of salt just to keep the green color in. Whenever you're steaming vegetables, you gotta have a salt. What it does, it locks in the chlorophyll inside the cellular structure of the plant.
Wow.
And it also tenderizes it.
I mean, man, you be going, you be getting deep. But Cassandra, what is the nutritional value of string beans for kidney patients?
So a really good key for the green beans for a kidney patient is they are a low potassium vegetable. So that is a kidney patient, especially dialysis patients, are always looking for good low potassium vegetables, and green beans is one of them. But they also are good for dietary fiber. They're good for folate, so they have some great nutritional value. And the way, like the chef was saying, when you keep the color in there, you keep the vitamins and the nutrients nice and strong.
Right. Cassandra, I had a question from Bridget. She wants to know, she has a couple, but let me get to this one. She asked, Sandra, as a dietitian, do you also help kidney patients who get gout how to eat, what to eat, and what not to eat? Do you have patients that have gout?
Yes, I do. We do have patients that have gout, and with gout, you kind of have to work with that patient individually on trying to figure out what is actually triggering their gout. That is the kind of the hard part for gout. There's a list of foods that may be high purine foods that affect gout, but when you're working with the patient, you have to individually figure out what is causing the gout in that patient.
Wow. Okay, great. Guys, share this broadcast. Again, you're not going to get any type of broadcast like this 9:30 at night. And again, like I said, the only other broadcast is Dad Bites TV. He has every Tuesday with Jen Hernandez, which is a great show. But other than that, this is going to be coming on the scene. So, but we do real cooking here, as you see, with Chef Borley. So, Chef, you're just pretty much steaming up the green beans.
Just steaming them. Now, in a restaurant, soon as we steam them to my tender desire, I'm going to put them in a strainer, hit them with cold water. What the cold water does is it stops the cooking process. And then what I'll do is I'll change my pan and go into stir fry mode with garlic, onions, and peppers, and then combine them back and then add some spices to them. But in reference to your question with the gout, yes, we've learned that uremic acid in the body creates the gout issue. But what I found in my patients is either orange juice or seafood is normally a big contributor to raising that uremic acid up in that body. If you get rid of that diet, you normally don't have a problem.
Right. Brian, Chef O, he wants to know, do you ever blanch your green beans?
I normally would have, but for the night I don't.
Okay. Okay. What does that mean, Blanch? I'm
Blanch
lost.
means back in the day, your grandmother would take the vegetables, do this in boiling water, then cool them and put them in a freezer. So he would already, it's kind of like parboiling them.
Now, what you're doing right now is that simple for anyone to make? What you're doing right now?
Yes. So all you saw me do was steam in salted water and cool the vegetables down.
Okay.
That's all you saw me do.
Yeah, we're going to get y'all this recipe, and I want to put the link up on our page. It's going to be a Google Doc, and anybody can get it, like we did with Chef O. If you go to our not our webpage, but our Facebook page, Urban Health Outreach Media, and go to September 6th show, you'll see the menu for the Hungarian. Chef, who was it? The Hungarian. Oh my God. But anyway, it's in the link. I want to say Hungarian chicken. I believe. Oh yeah, Hungarian chicken, because it was a chicken breast where he knocked it with the hammer. Yeah, Hungarian chicken.
So there are only 4 oils that I learned that work well with renal patients. So either black sesame seed oil, coconut oil, avocado, or walnut is all we use, even when I'm frying my own personal food. I don't eat a lot of fried foods out because restaurant oil is always recycled so many times and it's not healthy for the body.
So Chef, what's that you added in?
Say again?
What did you just add to the pan?
Oh, that was sesame seed oil.
Okay.
Next is going to be some garlic.
Oh, okay, Chef. Hungarian paprika. Okay. That's what it was. But we got that menu.
Your onions a little bit of time to sweat, which means they're just tenderizing and caramelizing.
Okay.
Normally it takes about 5 minutes. You never add the garlic before the onions because the garlic will burn.
Oh, good tip. Thanks.
So once they get a little browny.
Hey, this is awesome, Brian. This is awesome, man.
Now this is about a teaspoon of garlic.
Man, I should have came to your house tonight and did this show so I could have ate after you did it and then come back to DC.
See, I already got my video assistant has already put dibs in. She already said I'm leaving with everything.
Okay, video assistant, you got it this time. Oh man, wow! I can smell it.
I just put in mixed red peppers, and nutritionists can talk about peppers.
So the peppers are one, they provide good color. So especially if you see Chef Brian using different colors, you get different phytonutrients. So those are great cancer fighting products. So peppers are very good source to use. They are also a low potassium. So they're good things to add into your diet because they're low potassium and they also have good fiber.
Wow. Now, Cassandra, do kidney patients that you run into, do they know about alternative cooking when it comes to their disease, or are they surprised or feel like they're doomed, like they don't have no other choice?
Well, a lot of times when patients are first diagnosed with kidney disease, they are very scared to eat, um, because there are a lot of don't eat this, don't eat that, don't do this, don't do that. But this is why these types of programs are so important, because it shows that you don't have to be scared of your food, and your food doesn't have to be bland. I mean, look how wonderful and colorful and flavorful that looks that Chef Brian is cooking.
Yeah,
Yes.
pepper flakes, real pepper flakes.
Wow.
So,
So-
but that's why this is a great program, because
Yeah,
you
thank
want
you.
patients to see that the food can have great color and great flavor to it.
Brian, so you could pronounce what you're making again, because some people just joined.
Okay, so I'm making a panko crusted cod, which is in the oven, with a lemon, butter, garlic, caper sauce. And all it's in one pan, so it's not very tedious or hard to put together. Inside of this, all I added was the Mino Brags, like a soy sauce alternative. And a lot of people have some duck sauce from the Chinese restaurant. That's what I've added. And I've added some little bit of spice, red pepper flakes. And all I did was stir it up. And right now it's really done. I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit of sesame seeds.
Hey, Sherry, I guess so. The country soul food way of cooking string beans is out of the window.
Yeah, because we would boil them too long and lose all the nutritional factor and the fiber.
Yeah. And as Chef mentioned before, the way I grew up with soul food country green beans is they were always cooked with cured pork, whether it was ham hock or smoked pork. So that's something we want to start to take out of the diet, and you can still have the green beans and they taste amazing, just cooked a different way.
Wow. All right, Kathy, we're going to do that. We're going to do that. If you're going to make his food, if y'all guys going to make the chef's food that we have on here, we'll definitely keep repeating this, because this is for y'all. It's not for me, but it's for kidney warriors and your families to have something alternative and still be healthy and enjoy your food in spite of kidney disease.
So we're putting out a cookbook for renal patients that's going to have all these recipes. I'm big on flavor, but I'm even big on making sure it works for your body as a renal hypertension patient. Just putting the right things in.
Let me ask you this, Chef Brian. Let me get the three of us in here. You're saying you're putting out a renal cookbook. What would be different with your cookbook, or what would make your cookbook stand out from all the thousands or hundreds of other kidney renal cookbooks that's out there on the market right now?
One, because I'm also a wellness coach. So I'm going to put a lot of protocols into what I eat that allows my body that used to have a 758 blood sugar. I'm going to show you how to get down to a 5.1 AC3, which is what I currently have. I'm going to show you how to eat a certain way that's going to build your hemoglobin without epogen. So right now I'm at 9, and I just fell because I'm having some bleeding issues, but I was at 11 with no medication. My iron is great and my ferritin is great just based on what I'm eating in additional supplements.
Now, Cassandra, wow. Speak on that as a dietitian. If you were in the clinic and he was your patient, what would you say to him? I mean, you would probably give him stars and talk about the type of patient he is, what he just said about his ferritin, his iron, his glucose, because a lot of patients don't understand that part of their lab work, how important the iron saturation is, the ferritin, the hemoglobin, the hematocrit.
Yes.
How important is that for a patient to know what Brian just said to you?
So, like Brian said, if eating, you can eat your way to better iron stores. So, knowing how to mix the foods, mixing high iron foods with vitamin C rich foods helps to actually create better iron absorption. Chef will probably tell you cooking with cast iron cookware actually helps to
I heard
increase
about that.
absorption. So there's newer generations or younger generations, cast iron cookware is not something that they use because we have a lot of nonstick cookware. That's the new craze. But cast iron cookware is amazing, and it is something that if you do have kidney disease or on dialysis, you should use your cast iron cookware as much as
possible.
chef has his. You should use that cookware as much as possible. I mean, daily if you can,
Wow.
using that cookware. So there's ways, like Chef says, eating your way to your hemoglobin and making sure that it's stable. And then in turn, it's one less pill or something you have to take, which is always good from a patient's point of view. But to be able to keep your iron stores up with eating, it also helps to improve your energy. And you overall, you just feel better
All
when
right.
you have better iron stores.
Brian, before I get to you, just a side note, Cassandra, just want to make a side note that for patients who may have inflammation going on, like an infection, that's going to interfere with their ferritin in their iron stores. Is that correct?
Yes, it can. Mm-hmm.
So when a patient has an infection, eating what Brian is doing at that time is not going to help. Like no iron supplements, or because we don't give iron medications during the infection process because it could kind of enhance it. So
Well, you
speak on
still
that.
would want to continue, if you're using your cast iron skillets and things like that, still continue, because that can help it from dropping and dropping and dropping. Kind of helps give you a little bit of a base.
Got you.
But you at the time you may not see the results of what you're doing, the additional results at that time.
Okay, got you. Thank you for clearing that up, because now before we get to you, Brian, I want to tell you guys these are some good tips, especially if you don't like getting the Infed or the Felicit, the iron medicine that tastes like, some patients told me, licorice, the black stuff in the 10cc syringe that the nurses squirt into your venous line every 2 to 3 minutes. Venifer, they used to have Infed, Felicit, but if you get yourself, invest in a cast iron pan and maybe reconstruct your diet, you may not have to use the medication like Chef Brian. That's amazing. So Brian, what you took the string beans out the pan, and what's that's topping the string beans? Can your camera move a little close?
So all I did was hit it with a little more sesame seeds. We normally would plate it with a little paprika just to give it a little garnishment. So the fish is going to go right here when we finish, and then my assistant can eat.
Don't say that. Assistant, you are so lucky. Oh, Brian, I want to have to come to Baltimore, man, and we're gonna have to sit down and break some bread. I mean,
Not a
really
problem,
soon.
anytime. But that's what's going to be in the book. It's recipes with a lot of flavor that even when I've gone through the DeVita recipe books, they look sound, but they're still adding ingredients that add to the destruction of the body. But nobody knows that because they're not on the alternative side of health. They're on the clinical side of health. And the clinical side of health doesn't give you a great body, unfortunately. So what I had to do was learn how to do it from an alternative standpoint to get my numbers back. So I can move any number of my lab and manipulate it high or low. And it took me 5 years to understand how to do that.
Wow. What you think about that, Cassandra, what he just said? I mean, as a clinical dietitian.
It's true. Food is amazing in that aspect, and especially with chronic kidney disease and dialysis patients. What you put in your body is going to show up in your labs.
Well,
or what you don't put in your body will show up in your labs.
Right.
But there's tons of foods out there and spices, things like turmeric, ginger. Just adding in these types of things into your diet, they really can make a difference. And then there's certain things that you take out.
Right.
Like I said, very highly processed foods. Using a natural peanut butter over a regular peanut butter helps to take out some of the sugar. And you can decrease some sugar, you'll see decreases in blood sugars and inflammation, and it has an overall effect over the body.
Uh-huh.
So,
Cassandra, yes, he is on dialysis, Charlotte. And I want to ask her your question, Manny. But Cassandra, you personally know this because you donated a kidney to your sister, and then you almost had a scare with kidney disease, which until had you turn your diet around.
yeah, it really had me look at it in a different aspect. Because I used to just love lifting weights, and push the protein shakes and those types of things. And I had to learn how to revamp it and not just use what I would say manufactured products, and learn how to create more handmade foods, but still kind of get some of the things that you're looking for. So like like Chef Bryant here, he's using a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables here. The fish, he's using products that are going to give you a better type of nutrient content.
Wow.
We finished.
So kind of just learning how to choose your products and choose a little more healthier products can give you a better nutrient content.
Okay, so you said you finished, Chef Brian?
Yes, sir.
Man, that was less than an hour.
Yeah, that was really 35 minutes.
And so you got some cod with capers,
crusted capers, lemon and butter, and some garlic. Szechuan stir-fried vegetables.
It looks great.
It does. All within an hour.
Yes.
My God.
And I will say one of the things I love to teach my patients and try to get them to understand is cooking makes a huge difference. Just taking the time to cook the food yourself makes a significant difference compared to if you're used to eating out a lot.
Talk about it.
And you can't control the variables when you eat out.
Yeah, that's right. And so you see,
And those variables are what creates the destruction in your body.
Right.
And you see, Chef just created a beautiful dish in less than an hour.
Manny, he wants to know Cassandra, what are your thoughts on immediate fasting?
Oh, on intermittent fasting.
Oh, intermittent. Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, intermittent.
So intermittent fasting kind of depends on the patient, but it does have significant results. Really, what happens with intermittent fasting, and usually with the typical way people in the U.S. eat, we kind of eat all the time, and we don't give our body any time to rest, recycle, and revamp itself, to let the organs just rest. And that's what intermittent fasting does. What it does is it allows it to rest. It allows the organs to take time to just be ready to process the next meal, instead of it constantly
doing it.
Processing, and it becomes sluggish, and it doesn't necessarily process the nutrients to its full capacity. So intermittent fasting actually has some very good benefits.
It's also biblically stated in Matthew 4 that when Jesus went into the desert and when he went into the wilderness to fast, we found out that concept gives the body healing.
Yeah.
So I fast every January and July for 45 days straight with nothing but fruit and vegetables. And in that time frame, I learned how to control my blood sugar, which is what I teach my patients now. I showed them how to come from 210 over 110 high blood pressure down to 120 over 65.
Wow. Now, Brian, the cookbook isn't out because you have several people that asking about the cookbook.
It's not time yet.
Okay. In fact, you got people who are commenting. Sherry, she does intermittent fasting, and she also says the chef is right. Manny, he said that's right. I fast too. Awesome information. Cassandra, Dawn, and Arlisha, and I think Bridget wanted to know, what are your thoughts of plant-based food and for dialysis patients?
Okay, so for dialysis patients, actually a plant-based diet can be very beneficial. But the key to a plant-based diet, especially during dialysis, you have to be very cautious on how much protein you get, and the higher protein plant-based foods. So I would not suggest you just go out on the limb and try it on your own. Consult with the dietitian at the dialysis center so that she can monitor you and make sure that you're getting enough of the protein that is needed. But it's very possible to get that through plant-based diets. A plant-based diet is lower in phosphorus, so in turn it's good for the body. It's higher in fiber. It's good for the heart. So it's actually a perfectly fine diet to be on. I've actually had patients who were on dialysis and were plant-based because that was just how they always ate. And I had one patient, especially completely plant-based, and I called him the poster child of the labs because his labs were always amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I just would suggest that you do consult with your dietitian to make sure that you are getting enough protein, that you're including those higher plant-based protein products.
Mm-hmm. Now, Brian, let me ask you, with your organization, TB7 Wellness Coach, Gloria Mungo made a great statement. She says diabetics have to be careful with intermittent fasting. Now, when you're coaching someone, do you make sure they're checking their blood sugar at certain times?
Well, the first part is I disagree. If you're hypo, which means your numbers fall under 90, we have a different protocol. But most African Americans in our community are hyper, meaning above 120 plus. For them, yes, you're monitoring, and I make my clients monitor their blood sugar 6 times a day, because we have to find out where the roller coaster is and then show you how to level out. I have taken 165 patients off of insulin to date.
Wow. 165.
165 will never have to do another needle. And they've learned where their shortcomings are, meaning the foods that they know they're not supposed to eat, and they can still sneak them in, but now they know how to manage it better.
And these are people with type 2 diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes, the highest one had a 400 blood sugar. She's down to 110.
Wow.
And there is no doctor that I've come across yet that is reversing dependency on insulin and turning diabetics around.
Very interesting. Cassandra, what do you think about this when it comes to diabetes, which is the leading cause of kidney failure, and the majority of diabetes are type 2, it's not type 1?
Yeah, the majority of diabetes is type 2, and it is one of the leading causes of kidney failure. So that's like we talked in the beginning about knowing your numbers. So even if you're not a kidney patient, I always tell my diabetic patients, like, if you have diabetes, when you go see your endocrinologist, your primary care doctor, you do want to ask them, what do my kidney numbers look like? Because it is one of the number one causes of kidney disease. Your diabetes will progress if you don't keep your diabetes under control. So making sure you keep your diabetes under control is very, very important, so that you don't progress to the next level of a additional issue with chronic kidney disease.
Right. One more question, Cassandra, I want to ask you pertaining to vitamin D. Sherry had a good question. She asked, what are your thoughts or advice on getting a good supply of vitamin D, i.e. sun, natural products, vitamin D supplements, foods? Well, we know that the kidneys don't produce vitamin D once they go out, so the sun really wouldn't work, right?
Yeah, the sun is not going to do you as much as it would prior to if the kidneys were working.
Right. So they more or less are going to have to go to pretty much medication.
Yeah, medication, supplementation is the way to balance that out.
Chef Brian, so what else you got for us?
Well, to piggyback on your D3, most renal patients have a very low D3. Our numbers should be 20, but most of us are in the 10s to the 11s. What I found out was a supplement that was 5,000 milligrams in a veggie capsule. Most D3s that clinically we give are made with gelatin, which is a pork product. I don't put pork in my body. So I use a veggie capsule that works exceptionally well. And right now I'm at 18. I'm about to cross over that threshold.
When you say 18 what?
Well, 18. The number for milligrams in the body for a renal is 20 is what we like.
For what? What chemistry is that you're talking about? Vitamin D?
D3.
Oh, D3.
And now, the D3 is what you want to look for when you are choosing a supplement.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. Say that again, Cassandra.
So you do, when you're choosing a supplement, you do want to look to make sure your supplement has a D3 component.
Okay. Okay. And I've been out of dialysis for a minute, about 2 years, because I haven't heard of D3.
Raise yours up.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's gonna
Is that something new they started monitoring within the last 2-3 years?
No, it's just what it is it's the vitamin D, the breakdown of the vitamin D in that particular component, the D3 is it will process better with patients that have kidney disease because of the lack of function that the kidneys has.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if someone doesn't have kidney disease, high blood pressure, or diabetes? Then what vitamin D remedies or et cetera to avoid getting those illnesses?
So I guess, are you asking, is it okay to still take a vitamin D if you don't have kidney disease? I always recommend making sure you do get out in the sun, because
Okay.
it will still naturally process the vitamin D.
Sure.
So you do want to get some sunlight. And then if you want to take a multivitamin, but you can also get vitamin D in different types of food. Try your almond milks and things such as that. And
Okay.
you can have a vitamin, but make sure you do get some sunlight.
Awesome.
Wear your sunscreen, but get some sunlight.
Awesome. Brian, that looks very, very tasty, man.
Thank you, thank you. When you get back to Baltimore, we'll connect so I can fix you something to eat.
Oh, I can come down there probably any day this week. You just
I ain't got a problem, man. Just
but oh man, wow.
So that would have been one of our meal preps that I would have done for one of my clients.
So you do meal preps?
I've done meal preps as well for my special clients.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Man, this has been awesome, man. We kind of over the hour, but what would you like to say, Brian, before we let you go about tonight? Your thoughts on dietary preparedness for kidney patients. Just what are your overall thoughts about what we did tonight and how important it is for kidney patients to look at alternative dietary instead of just going with the status quo?
Well, one of the things I would suggest are read 2 books. One is Back to Eden, which is a health book. It's one of the Godfather books that's out there. I read a book by Elijah Muhammad that was called Eat to Live. And it was one of the best books that I've ever
I got that.
That taught me how to eat better. You are what you eat. So if you find your body to be sluggish, overweight, obese, a lot of times it's the food that is just accumulated over the course of your life and you've never purged, you never fasted. In order to change disease, there's 4 parts to this that we have to change. The first one is acknowledgement. The second one is detox. The next one is better nutrition. And then the last one is rest. If you put those 4 variables together, we can normally downplay any disease the body has, from diabetes to high blood, hypertension, to even cancer. But it's a lot of discipline that has to come into this. Do I drink McDonald's tea? No, I don't. I drink kombuchas all day long, because I want to put alive in my body, not dead. If all you're doing is drinking and eating a lot of dead beverages, then you can expect that body to go into destruction very soon, especially if you're 50 plus. So my point of thought is always eat a live food. You'll always get the best benefit for your dollar.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Chef Brian, oh, that's not for you. Cassandra, Bridget wants to know, will you be coming back?
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a chef next Sunday. Hopefully Chef Javon going to cook something out of Florida. out of Miami. But Brian, man, that really good looks good, man. And we look forward to having you back as well, man, as we create a cooking show and put plans together on how often we're going to have the show. But this has been awesome, you coming on. This has been a successful second show.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on.
Tips
Not
too.
a problem. I mean, we got a lot of recipes, Steve. A lot of recipes. So just let me know. We can go from there.
Most definitely, man. I'm going to be probably getting up with you in the morning. But this is how people can reach you, correct?
TV7 Wellness Coach. TV on Facebook, TV7 Wellness Coach, or email TB7 Wellness Outreach Ministry @gmail.com.
Wow. Awesome, man. Thank you, Brian, for coming on, and definitely be reaching out to you. And man, have a great evening. And thanks again for
that was very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to have to when you send me that text, that's everything you use, right?
Yes, minus the hummus. Yes, minus the hummus.
Okay, because I want to type it up and put it on my Google Drive and put that ingredients out there.
Okay.
All right, Minister Brian Borley, again, thank you, man, for your delicious meal. If you want to reach Brian again, you can reach him at TB7 Wellness Outreach Ministry @gmail.com. He also sells life insurance. I mean, this guy does it all. So if you need to reach out to him, I mean, life insurance for dialysis patients. Correct. So, and that's kind of hard to find. So reach out to this guy because he's out there in the community. Just got to reach out and touch somebody. So again, Minister Brian, Chef Brian, thank you for coming on World Kidney News, and we will definitely see you again.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
All right, man. Take care.
All right.
All right. So, Cassandra, I mean, what do you think of this whole, before we let you go, what do you think about this whole cooking show idea? This is the second week. We know you couldn't have made it last week, but this was your first time. I never seen anything on social media with a kidney warrior that's on dialysis, that's a chef, that's preparing healthy, kidney-friendly meals for other warriors to learn and use to help get themselves healthy. What do you think about that? As a dietitian, have you seen anything like that in your career?
No, and I do think it's amazing, and it's great because, like I said, I want my patients to know that their diet doesn't have to be bland. Like I said, I love to cook myself, so in the clinic I would do taste testings and things like that because I wanted them to know that it didn't have to be bland. There's other ways to alter a recipe. I'll never forget one time I made a gumbo style rice for my patients, and I had a patient from New Orleans, and he was like, "Cassandra, trust me, it's not gonna taste good." And I'm like, "Just wait." And when he tasted it, he was like, "I can't believe this is supposed to be kidney friendly, and it actually kind of tastes like home." And so I think it's good that the patients are able to see that they can still really enjoy their food, because you should enjoy your food. Food is not, it is to nourish the body, but when we sit down and we eat, it's fellowship, and all that comes with food. And it should taste good all in the same time. So I like for my patients to understand they can go to a party or a gathering or whatever, and they can bring a kidney-friendly dish and make the other people at the party ask for the recipe because it's that good.
Wow.
So I love this concept of a show. It's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
that looked good to me. It was kidney friendly. Man, I was ready to jump through the screen. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think like this show actually kind of, it not only is it showing them, it gives them a visual. We need to be like Rachel Ray and get some smell-o-vision. And if we could have smelled it.
Right, right. That would have been awesome if we could have smelt it. Absolutely. Yeah. So, but before I let you go, what would you just like to say for patients that's watching this show, far as their labs and what they've seen tonight, how this could benefit with their monthly labs?
So just as we discussed a second ago, cooking is key. So if you're not a cook and you don't usually like to get in the kitchen, try to check out these shows so that you can experiment a little more. The chef showed you how easy it was to make the fish and the green beans. So cooking is key. And when you do cook yourself, you have better control of what you are putting in and out of your body. And it does show up in the labs.
Wow. It absolutely do. So, guys, we're just trying to give you another alternative way to enjoy eating in spite of having kidney disease. And don't think, because I used to hear a lot of patients, new patients on dialysis, when the dietitian come by and I'm making my rounds and they're consulting with the new person on dialysis, and they kind of go over the list and they like, I can't eat this no more. I can't do that. And they're like, I can't eat nothing. So they think they're
Yeah,
like
they
doomed
do.
to not having the meals that they used to. So this is an alternative way. You just got to change your eating pattern, but you can still do that and enjoy the food at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So Cassandra, will you be back with us next Sunday?
Yes, I'll be back next Sunday.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, Cassandra, thank you so much for spending an hour and 15 minutes co-hosting with me. And just letting the warriors know about the ingredients that the chef was using, and how healthy it is for them.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Like I
Oh,
said, I love to cook, and this is great. This is an awesome show.
yeah, and if you can, share it with your patients. Get that message out there.
Okay.
All
I'll see
right.
you next Sunday.
Okay, take care, Cassandra. Talk to you soon. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye
All
bye.
right, thank you. Bye-bye. Guys, this was an awesome show. And like I said, all we just trying to do is educate. That's all. And whatever I can do to get that information out there to you guys and not give you the same thing and mix it up, we're going to do that. We're going to continue to do that. All we need you to do is share the broadcast. You don't have to pay for it. It's free information from a licensed dietitian and certified chef who's also a renal patient. In fact, all the chefs that will be cooking on here has kidney disease, either a transplant or on dialysis. So continue to watch for free. All we ask from you is to share the information, whether it's in a group, your respected group that you belong to, or any other platform like Instagram, Periscope, whatever. Just share this information so other kidney warriors can get this information, and their families, so they can deal with this disease and don't have to think that they can't eat nothing anymore, because there is a better way. Thank you guys for watching World Kidney News. We enjoyed you tonight. Have a good evening. And again, I'd like to send condolence to the Pito family on the passing of their father, husband, in this time of death. We'd like to send our condolences again. I don't know. This is so hard for me. So thank you guys for watching. God bless you. And again, rest in peace, Martin.
Uh-huh.